What up? The inflation machine in Vaal League keeps printing divines, and that means we can make a ton of currency doing mechanics that don't involve the Vaal Temple. And that's exactly what we have here with Expedition Logbooks. So before we jump into it, help us out with a bit of YouTube busy work. Like, subscribe, and hype the video if you're on mobile. These all tell YouTube to show our content to more people so we can keep doing this. So here is the sales pitch for Expedition Logbooks. They generate way over 100 divines per hour worth of runic splinters at time of recording. They're also very easy, there's very little setup. You don't need any item rarity. You don't really even need a strong build. There's no one portal juiced mapping or any cringe abyss clouds. There's no map mods of any kind. There's no temp chains, no chilled ground. 100 divines per hour sounds like a lot. It is real. We did a stream a couple of days ago in which we farmed 516 divines worth of splinters from 51 logbooks, and it took something like 4 to 4.5 hours. Some of that time was spent goofing off. If I had waited a day to sell those splinters, it would have been more like 570 divines. So that was a pretty casual 125 divines per hour. If you're super optimized, or if the inflation generator just keeps going brrr, you're probably going to be looking at more like 150 divines an hour or more. So what are we actually doing? We are farming runic splinters and logbooks. That is it. Runic splinters are the boss key for the Olroth fight. Olroth drops several valuable lineage support gems and the unique life flask Olroth's Resolve. You also need to kill him 3 times in order to unlock all your Atlas passive points for Expedition, and you need those Atlas passive points from Expedition in order to farm more logbooks in your maps. You don't actually need any Atlas passive points to run logbooks effectively. We can farm upwards of 80 splinters per logbook, and with them going for about 8 splinters per divine, it's kind of fluctuating between 7 and 9, we're looking at 10 divines per book. You can buy logbooks, but then you're at the whims of the market. If you farm them yourself, you're going to save a ton of divines and have some pretty well-rolled ones as well, and we've recently made a video about how to farm logbooks in maps very efficiently, so check that out. Alright, let's talk about some of the setup that we're doing. Really, the only setup we're doing in this is just getting logbooks that have good implicits, 4 of them. If you're farming them yourself, they're gonna all have 4 implicits on them, and there are really only a handful of implicits that are like super good, and some of them are completely worthless, so let's just kind of take a look at them on PoEDB. So these bottom 4, these actually only exist in PoE 1, these aren't even like real in PoE 2. Basically what we're looking for is anything related to chests. So additional chest markers is really good. Excavation chests have a chance to contain twice as many items is the best modifier. There are a few other really valuable implicit modifiers for your logbooks as well. Number of explosives and increased explosive placement range are both really good for being able to get every single one of the reward chests that we're looking for around the entire logbook area. Explosive radius is also okay. It's not quite as good as the other 2, but it can work really well. Any of these 3 explosive related ones are good. Either of the 2 related to chests are fantastic. And then the ones related to remnants are okay. There's only 1 remnant modifier that we want at all in our logbooks. There's also only 1 chest type that we want. But having more remnants means more chances to get that, so you know, it's good. It has a multiplicative effect on the return we get. Everything related to monster markers and runic monster markers and artifacts dropped by monsters is totally worthless, and additional underground areas is kind of RNG. Sometimes you'll get multiple good chests in an underground area, sometimes you'll get 0. Underground areas are okay, they're kind of a gamble. Not a terrible one, but a little bit of a gamble in a strategy that is otherwise very consistent. So let's go ahead and just jump right into a logbook and talk about really the only 2 mechanics that are going on inside there, and we'll go ahead and just start with the one of these 2 that has the better implicit modifiers. So we're not worrying about Lush Isle at all anymore. We're not worrying about the side chests, the totems on Lush Isle. Sometimes those will drop a divine. In the course of 51 logbooks, I got 3 raw divines, which is nice, but 3 raw divines compared to like 516 is nothing. So this is 3 good implicit modifiers. Additional chest markers, explosive radius, and number of explosives, and then the monster markers one is bad. This one is chest markers, monster markers, explosives, and monsters again, so we're going with the 3 good modifiers instead of 2. Also, one extra note, sometimes you'll get item level 81 logbooks from your maps if you're doing tier 15s and you're not irradiating them. Sometimes they'll drop from chests as level 80 instead of 81. Sometimes they'll drop from rare monsters as 81, even though it's an area level 80 zone. The difference between 80 and 81 isn't really all that big, so don't worry about it too much. So the first thing that we're looking for in this area, as soon as we zone in, is we are looking for underground areas, and we are looking for these little Triskele markers here. This is what the runic splinters are found in, these chest markers right here. And they'll contain anywhere from like 5 to 14 by default. And that's pretty much it. We just want to get every single one of those blown up and out of the ground. The only other thing that we are looking for throughout the area, other than underground areas, which we can get if we want to along the way, is we can stop and look for remnants a little bit at the start and see if there are any close or along the way that have a very specific modifier, if it's even in here. And that would be 20% increased quantity of items found in chests. Anything dropped by monsters, anything related to monsters, anything related to artifacts is totally worthless. The only thing we care about, like this mod right here, quantity of artifacts found in chests, worthless. Quantity of items dropped by monsters, equally worthless. We are only looking for quantity of items found in chests. And honestly, this may just be a logbook with none of them. They do have an impact on the amount of runic splinters that drop in the logbooks. It's not a huge amount, it's 20% increased, but they do cascade to everything after that point. Like, just like everything else works in Expedition, if you blow up a remnant with the very first explosive, it'll apply to everything in the entire explosive chain. If you hit it with the last explosive, it's not going to apply to anything except for that last explosion. So it doesn't look like we had a single good remnant in this entire area, so what we're going to do is we're just going to go around and just get up all of these expedition chests that we can along the way. We can hit currency chests as well. We can hit any of the side areas or underground areas too if it's not out of the way, but really all we're looking for is just as many expedition chests as we can possibly get in a full run through the entire logbook. And that's pretty much what we're gonna do. We're not gonna go out of our way to get anything special, but if we can get any of the side areas, anything rewarding on the sides along the way, not gonna say no. There have been some times in the course of doing this, really trying to cover like lots of ground. Like, this is one of the downsides of doing Lush Isle in particular, is it has these side beaches that are very far apart from each other. Sometimes you might have to like unplace some things and go back and basically redo your whole explosion chain over again. And depending on how many chests you're picking up by doing that, it may be worth it. It's important to remember that basically every chest you blow up out of the ground is somewhere between like half of a divine to like 3 divines. Definitely it's better to try and get every single one of these chests out of the ground as you possibly can, even if you're giving up anything else along the way. And just as kind of a note here, this underground area has not 1 but 2 of these expedition chests in it, and we got 11 runic splinters out of this underground area, so that's like 1 1/4 divines. And now I'm going to blast the whole rest of this logbook, and then we'll see how much actually comes up out of the ground by the time it's all done. Alright, and there we go. That is 1 logbook done, 75 runic splinters. Maybe a little on the lower side, but we didn't really get, we didn't get any good remnants at all along the way. We didn't get anything super special. And that's still pretty good. That's still like 8 or 9 divines worth of splinters there just in that one run. And it only took a couple of minutes. So one important question that I know we're going to get here and is worth answering is, should you bother to pick up broken artifacts or exotic coinage or any of the artifacts, really? And honestly, it's up to you. Like, some of them are pretty low value. These broken circle ones in particular are pretty low value. The black sun ones are worth a little bit more, about an exalt each. So basically ask yourself, would you stop to pick up an exalt? Would you stop to pick up 1/10 of an exalt? And then kind of go from there. If you're really trying to be optimal, you probably shouldn't stop to pick up any of the artifacts, but they're just so tempting, it's hard to resist. Okay, so this one's pretty bad. 2 remnant modifiers and an explosive radius. Obviously not very good. Frigid Bluffs here, on the other hand, twice as many items. 15 chest markers, explosive placement range. This is a great one, so hopefully we'll get a big haul out of this. Alright, and once again, when we zone in, the first thing we're going to do is just kind of look to the outside edges and see where are we seeing very far off expedition chests. Like, we're seeing them in the southeast corner and also up north and also to the west. Look for the underground area, it's right by the start. And then we just kind of want to look around for remnants and just see, are there any that have 20% increased quantity of items found in excavated chests near the start. 1 right there, 1 right here. That's fantastic. So we've gotten 2 very near the start. And so we're going to try to hit those very early on, and then just hit every single one of the expedition markers that we can along the way, just trying to be as efficient as possible in hitting all of those. Rarity of items found in chests won't have any impact. I know that is a remnant modifier I just hit. It might help you get more divine orbs out of them, maybe, if you're lucky, but it won't do anything in terms of getting you more splinters. Okay, and so despite how spread out this area was, we were able to get all but one of the chests. Okay, and let's just go ahead and follow this explosion chain all the way out to the end, and we'll see how many we get, and then that'll pretty much be that. Okay, and so that is the end of this run, and as you can see, we got 200 runic splinters in this one logbook. And this one was a little bit slower and more methodical. It was also in a pretty incredible high roll in terms of the amount of times splinters got duplicated, and the fact that we got, I think it was 3 remnants throughout the whole run for 20% increased quantity of items in the chests. So ultimately, this is like a really good example here. Kind of nice to do this for the video. But also it's a bit of a kind of a comparison. You can zip through as quickly as you can and just get what you get, or you can be a little slower and methodical on some of the ones that have like a lot of chests in them and try to really min-max them, and you won't get as many logbooks done per hour, but you might get more splinters out of each logbook. So you kind of have to balance it out yourself, how fast you want to be versus how effective at like min-maxing every bit of value out of each logbook. Ultimately, that's all going to play into how much currency you're making per hour, but either way, it's still very, very, very profitable, as you can see. And yeah, just to show off how much that basically is worth in that one logbook, 24 divines at the instant sell price. If you were to mark it up a little more, maybe like 25 or 26, and that was in one logbook that, it took like 5 minutes or whatever. So pretty good, right? Have fun running logbooks. They are really good. Check out the other video where we talk about how to farm up a bunch of logbooks so you can get them for yourself and not have to pay whatever exorbitant prices they're being, charged for. That's pretty much it. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And finally, thank you to all of our channel members. If you want to support us and help us make more PoE content, consider becoming a channel member as well. Thanks for watching. Bye.